Yesterday on the internet footage of a 12-year-old boy killing, shooting a hostage.
I have to use that allegedly word again because there is some doubt over that video and the veracity
but that
of
is
it.
the image that they want to portray, that children are part of their war. And I really wonder, these parents of these girls must be distraught, and they have my absolute sympathy.
What you're
I don't think you'll find a lot of people
that they are not
defending
allowed
the
back into
actions
the country?
of ISIS at this time, but I mean, it's these three girls that have put themselves in this position. I mean, there's lots of arguments. Some people would say you don't want them to come back and be role models. Some people would argue that actually, if you do prosecute them as terrorists, despite all the questions...
I'm not saying prosecute them as terrorists. I'm saying there is a consequence to what they have done.
So what would that be?
Well, I don't know. I can't think on my feet about creating a law on television. You know, it's not trial by television. I'm just saying a measured response. I'm saying a measured response. What they have done is go abroad and support, I think, by their actions, an organisation which is hell-bent on causing absolute chaos in the civilised world.
And to this day, do you still support every organisation that you supported when you were 15, 16?
No, of course not.
No, because you were young.
My organisations that I supported didn't throw gay people off buildings and stone them to death. I'm sorry, that's the bottom line.
Janet, there are a lot of people who belong to a lot of groups that are very unpopular and do some very hideous and heinous
I'm not
things.
saying the girls have got to go to jail.
Guilty.
I'm going to say there's a consequence to what they've done, and it should be done in cooperation. I'm not saying it's a judicial... It's something that should go before the courts, but quite seriously, they need counselling, they need support, their community needs
but that's entirely different. I mean, from prosecuting them, nobody's saying that they come back and they're fated in any way.
I'm not saying they've got to have a custodial sentence. They've got to see the consequences to what they've done in a serious, measured way that sends a clear message to other teenagers hell-bent on following them.
I think one of the potential problems, and who knows, because we're dealing with really uncharted territory here. This is so difficult, isn't it? But I suppose one of my concerns would be that if they were to be prosecuted, and who knows if these girls would ever get back, even if they wanted to come back, is there a danger that you sort of exaggerate the sense of grievance and the sense of division that exists within certain communities, and actually you make them some kind of folk hero for the people who are thinking that they are aggrieved? That would be one concern. Rather than they come back, they would have to obviously say that they, regretted what they had done, that they wouldn't do it again, that perhaps you could use them in a positive way to speak to young people
then they can
here
have a
and say, look...
sentence. I'm not talking about a custodial sentence.
I think it's awful. I think it's awful that we are speaking this way about 15 and 16-year-old girls. I understand that you're saying they're a lot cleverer than we think. They are still 15 and 16-year-old girls, and we are still suggesting that they are condemned for the rest of their lives. I think it's awful. I do think that... I agree with some of the points, but I think you have to think... You have to think about the much bigger picture here.
Do you think they should take no responsibility then?
I don't... No. I think that they should... Obviously, they're going to get into some sort of trouble, but let them back into the country. Give them...
And then, if God forbid something happens, what are you going to say?
Do you know how many people are supporting disgusting organisations here already? Anyway,
OK, all right. Listen, we're going to have to just draw this one to a close. It remains unresolved, I'm afraid, here.